Chiropractors are like really, it's like a tightly contested issue. Is people who enjoy going to the chiropractor will tell you it's amazing and it's really useful and they really like need it. Skeptics of chiropractic stuff is not that hard to find. I myself have been a chiropractic like skeptic. Does that make sense? This is a fun little tidbit. It's not that fun. The only person who I've personally known who did a sexual, like a full-on sexual assault is now a chiropractor. That's one for one. Chiropractors give me the fucking creeps. It's fucking weird. I think they're weird. So that's my background with chiropractic. Now, I was friends with this person before that happened. And so it was when we were in college, when I was friends with him, and he was wanting to go into chiropractic. I went with him to sort of learn, like I went to like meetings or like dinners to also be with him, just as a way to, for me, get free pizza, but for him to learn what it takes to become a chiropractor. So I've learned a little bit back then. Of course, I haven't been in college for 12 years. 12 years? That's not right. I haven't been in college for 8 years. And so now here we are. Now, if you have been on TikTok, you maybe have seen this video.
So you're niggers?
Yeah.
I'm a Chiro. I'll show you how to crack it. Hand on back of neck end. Other hand on head end. You pull it. I'm a Chiro.
Ozzy Doll very points out immediately. Kind of a sus song, yeah? And again, why does he say neck hurts like that? This is a chiropractor who made a song intentionally to say neck hurts in a way that sounds like he's saying the N-word. You can tell all of the stupid fucking jokes in the comments, and that's the point. His name is Dr. Remix. And here are just some videos that I found on his profile. So he claims he's a chiropractor, and here's like an example of something you'll see on his profile. Nose chiropractic, I guess. You see he's got a little watermark on it. But this isn't him doing the chiropractic work. This is somebody else that's a chiropractor. Now, he doesn't just show adults doing chiropractic stuff. He'll also show babies.
There's a hook.
Yep, I see it.
To her right.
All right, that's enough of that. I'm not going to make us watch this stuff because it's, to me, I can't stomach it. It's gross to me. So as you can see, this is maybe a like 1-year-old-ish around there, anywhere from 12 months to 24 months, maybe, getting cracked with the, would you let your baby get cracked? And again, no, this is not Dr. Remix. This is him posting somebody else's video. So we got adult humans. We got baby humans. There's dogs. They have dog chiropractic. This says 1+ years in pain. We're not going to watch the whole video. If you know anything about dog body language, this is a stressed out dog. The side eye, the open eye, the mouth opened, stressed out dog. And then when the crack happens, ears are back. The dog is not having a good time. And if you look, all of the comments are like, so supportive of this, which is crazy to me. It's crazy that you see a dog getting its back cracked and everyone's like, yay, yay. But don't worry, there's not just dogs. There's also cats. I'm sorry, there's also horses. So that is a horse getting its neck cracked. And it says a horse hasn't moved her neck in over a year. This is still Dr. Remix's TikTok channel, and none of these are him. These are different chiropractors. In this one, he says via horse chiropractor Dr. Mike Adney. But you can see in this one, in the dog one, there's no tag. There's no tag on this. This one does say via Iron Sanctuary and Kids Only Chiro. This one doesn't have any tags on who the chiropractor was. And of course, there are cat chiropractors as well. This is a cat cracking compilation. Again, this isn't Dr. Remix performing the chiropractic. This is other people doing it. This cat's loving. This cat is loving being at the chiropractor. Let me tell you. This is Dr. Remix. He has 5.6 million TikTok followers. And if you look at his page, it is almost entirely other chiropractors. I don't know if you guys have heard of the ring dinger. This is what this technique is called. Where this is Dr. Ali Elahi in Dallas. All he does is slap a little watermark on it and repost it. We're not going to go into the ring dinger, but it's there. If you click on his Instagram page, this is Dr. Remix still. You can see he says he's a celebrity chiropractor. I don't know what that means. Like, here is a video of him doing chiropractic, but like the majority of his stuff is him giving medical advice. So here's an example, or not maybe medical advice, but giving medical like information.
Here's a test to see how healthy your lungs are. Let's go. Inhale, hold your breath, and follow the red circle. Each time it goes around, you'll get 1 point. The scoreboard is at the bottom.
Typical random, view getting video. Chiropractors aren't medical doctors. And for some reason, a lot of this dude's content is either putting up other people's chiropractic videos or him giving medical advice, which I don't understand. If you look on his page here, one of the top ones obviously is this little Dr. Oz clip. So let's give this Dr. Oz clip a little watch.
Making the actual cracking sound.
So Dr. Oz, that actual cracking sound is a release of gas in what we call your joint capsule, what stabilizes your joints. I like to call it like a joint fart, but when that...
A joint fart, that's brilliant.
But when that crack happens, it allows for like an increase of range of motion in your joints and you can move better. Yeah.
Again, not a great look to be on Dr. Oz's show, because we all hate Dr. Oz. Right? We can all understand Dr. Oz is a piece of shit. We don't need to go into Dr. Oz. But you see here, it's Dr. Cracks and Dr. Remix, and he calls it a joint fart, which, when you crack your knuckles, it's just gas being released out of joints, right? That's all he's saying, and he calls it a joint fart, which, if you're trying to convince me that chiropractic techniques are important and good and useful, I wouldn't want you to say, oh, it's just like a fart, because I don't associate farts as being like medically like a good thing. They're not medically a bad thing necessarily, but maybe instead of calling it a joint fart, I would just say like, oh yes, it's a release of gas that can help alleviate pain in your joints. That sounds a lot better than calling it a fart. But interesting that he called it a fart, because this is on Dr. Remix's page as well. And this is something that if you go on any chiropractic page that posts stuff to get viral, you will see this exact chiropractor fart compilation, but sometimes they'll like cut it in a different order. So let's watch it.
Good.
Whoa! That was cool. One more time and...
And we're back.
Deep breath in and out.
Eagle-eared viewers will see half of these are just fake farts put into it. Like this one, I would say is probably a real fart. And let's watch another one.
Best video on the planet. It's so cute. Go check it out. Alright, another one. Big breath in. Who said that to me? I do!
Okay, well.
This one probably a real fart. That one is 1000% fake, right? And so, like, if you have real chiropractor farts, why put in definitely fake ones? I don't understand it. Like, what's the point? Okay, let's think of it from a business perspective. You are a chiropractor, right? You have a made-up degree at a made-up college, right? You have a practice and you want to get more people to come into your practice, and so you go on TikTok and you start putting up videos of you adjusting people. When you add in fart humor, you're going to be attracting like 15-year-old boys. Why are you marketing to that? It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. I don't get what the point of this is. if we go back and we look at that post here where he was on Dr. Oz, it's Dr. Remix, who we know is this person here with the colored hair, and Dr. Cracks. So who is Dr. Cracks? Well, Dr. Cracks is self-proclaimed #1 celebrity chiropractor. Okay. And you can see his page here. He has the reposted same exact dog chiropractic, top 5 farts at a chiropractor. And you can sort of see his general thing is sometimes he does stuff with neck humps, but we see like Jason Derulo here, Noah Beck getting his neck adjusted and stuff like that. So this is his shtick, is he's going to go around and do chiropractic on celebrities. And if you've seen a chiropractic video with a celebrity, it's probably this guy. H3H3 found this video. This is, I cannot stress enough, this is on Dr. Cracks's page. He posted this. And the caption on it says, "Bro left her at 1 HP." So let's give it a watch.
Just bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. They were all old fractures. Up, and down, up and down, up and down. Good. Ow! Yep. Oh, yes, man. Oh, yeah. Good movement there, huh?
Yeah. This isn't making me want to go get my back adjusted. Has anybody in here seen this video and been like, I should go to a chiropractor? Because this looks so painful. That is not the face of someone who is having a good time.
All right, Miss Lorraine, relax that head for me. Oh. There it is.
The uncontrollable, like tongue flexation is so strange to me. This was posted by Dr. Cracks. That's not Dr. Cracks doing the chiropractic. This is somebody else. So I don't know what it is on this like chiropractic TikTok. They just like post other people's videos all the time to get views. I don't think they're stealing content. I imagine it's sort of they could be stealing content. That's not the point I'm focusing on. The point is that they are purposefully taking clips that they know will go viral and reposting it to keep going viral on different accounts. I mean, if you look at Dr. Cracks's page, look at these views. I mean, 4.2, 5 million, 9.8 million, 24 million, 27 million views.
So your headaches? Yeah, I'm a Chiro. I'll show how to read.
It's that same exact formula where this is the Dr. Remix audio, but so your headaches instead of him saying so your neck hurts. Here's an example of, he did one with Jake Coleman. I have no idea who Jake Coleman is. It says couldn't find your account. This is from 2021. Maybe he got canceled. I have no idea. But if you look at the comments, it's Crack Bradley Martin, Crack Addison Ray, or Anna Banana XD. That's the idea, right? Is like that was how he made his brand. Most recently, this was from March, he had Eva Elfie on. If you don't know who Eva Elfie is, she is an adult sex worker. She posts videos on, OnlyFans, Pornhub, and the likes. And he also had Skybree on, who is also a sex worker. I think this is interesting because look at the difference in the two videos. If we go back to his profile here, they both did well. The Eva Elfie one on TikTok, 2 million views. Skybree, 2 million views. But if you look at Dr. Crack's Instagram, we can see 400,000 views on the Skybree one. But they do well. They do very good numbers, obviously. But I just want to show these and compare these videos.
Oh my god, yeah.
Ooh, that's good. Perfect.
Whoa.
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 You said not the fetish content. Be the Queen said some of it kind of feels like soft king fetish content. And there is a lot of that. So this is Eva Elfie. And look at the comments. Doc, what is her payment method? And Eva, after paying the session, I skipped this part. I wonder because I usually skip this part. It's a lot of people really not even watching it, the chiropractic stuff. It's just people making like weird comments about Eva Elfie. And I don't know about you, but when I watched this, I just saw a woman getting adjusted. There wasn't even necessarily anything she was doing that was like crazy. Obviously, like these shots are kind of wild, but she's wearing jeans and a shirt. Now let's watch Skybree.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to get my body adjusted.
About to get cracked. Right there. Perfect.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Right there.
Oh my god. Holy
Wow.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh my god.
So crazy.
So I show you these as a comparison. Obviously, this one was a lot more sexualized, both by Dr. Cracks and the way he was shooting it, and Sky Bree, right? She clearly was like understood what was going on, and like, I mean, she's wearing, you know, the revealing clothes as a way to market for herself, right? That's what she's doing. Compared to like the Eva Elfie one, maybe this is me looking into it too much. It feels like she thought that she was just going to do a collab with somebody who's a chiropractor and was getting a chiropractic session. And then she didn't. But that didn't stop literally the exact same comments. How did she pay? What happened after that? I recognize these sounds. Where's the other collab? So I'm not making a judgment on either of the actresses here. It just feels strange to me because, again, what is the point of Dr. Cracks posting these videos? The people who are leaving these comments aren't going to go to a chiropractor. They're fucking 12. And if you think I'm being like weird or thinking into it and like questioning this guy for being weirdly moral, here's him doing a collaboration with Aiden Ross himself. Now, if you don't know who Aiden Ross is, content warning, homophobia, and everything. Content warning, everything. Has said a ton of hateful slurs or symbols. He is very constantly claiming that there are only two genders, doing intentionally antagonistic things towards LGBTQ people. He had on Nick Fuentes, who is a straight up anti-Semite. He was regularly trying to do stuff with Kanye in the middle of Kanye having his entire anti-Semitic breakdown. He also is a frequent and very ardent supporter of Andrew Tate, which is why he looks like this. He shaved his head to look like Andrew Tate. When Andrew Tate was offered 3 visitors in prison in Romania for allegedly sex trafficking women, Aiden Ross was one of his visitors. And all of this happened, pretty much most of it, before Dr. Cracks did a collab with him. So, Dr. Cracks. Now, as I said before, if you look on any chiropractor videos, you're going to find a fart video. This was the fart video that Dr. Cracks posted. It was the same compilation of chiropractic farts. It is now unavailable. And I was just lining up these tabs before I started streaming. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But don't worry. I went back to his page and he reposted it 5 days ago. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of likes, top 5 farts at a chiropractor.
Time and...
And we're back.
Deep breath in and out.
So as you can see, it's the same video we saw before. It's just lined up in different order. And he regularly posts it, gets the views, privates it, and then reposts it. You can see this was the original beginning because it has all of the tags on it. If we go back to the Instagram reel, this is the original beginning. And now this is 55 seconds into this video. And we're saying like fart fetishes, yada, yada, yada. This is a chiropractor. This isn't a page made for fart fetishes. Hey, if you want to go get off on your fart fetishes, that's fine. But this is a chiropractor. I'm sorry. If I was going to a doctor and I looked him up online, or her, or them, and I looked them up online, and my medical doctor, my general practitioner, was posting fart comps of his patients, I would be concerned. I'd be like, hey, maybe this guy doesn't know what the f he's doing. Because, I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird. It's very strange. My big question here is what is up with chiropractors? And if we look at Dr. Crack's page here, he doesn't post super frequently. Or at least the videos that he posts he might delete them, right? Because we can see here top 7 farts at a chiropractor. We know it was reposted 5 days ago. And then if you look at like the Eva Elfie video, that was posted all the way back in March. This guy has millions of views. So it's like, why is he not posting frequently and growing his stuff?
Your back hurts?
This, you know, only a couple scrolls down here. We're already back in 2022. January of 2022, even at the beginning of the year. It's almost 2 years ago. And it's the same thing on his Instagram. He doesn't post, or it doesn't seem that he posts super regularly. So I went into TikTok and I said, Dr. Cracks controversy. And I found this. This is a user, Kyler, claiming this dude is for real, putting in sound effects and faking the cracks. Every single crack sounds the same, which isn't possible due to a fraud.
There it is.
Three different cracks, all sounded exactly the same. And I feel like if you think about it for a second, this makes sense from a post-production side. Is they go and they shoot the video, they're not going to have your back or your neck mic'd up. So it makes sense in order to increase the production value, you're going to lay in fake cracks. That they might actually be getting their back adjusted, their neck cracked, whatever, but they're going to put in the fake cracks. To me, this isn't that crazy of a thing. But again, if chiropractors are supposed to be these people who are doing an actual medical like thing, like they're claiming that what they're doing is actually really useful and helpful and good and you need to get it done, you shouldn't have to be faking videos in order to convince me to do it. Like, I don't need to go onto TikTok and see someone sawing open a rib cage to do a heart transplant for me to be like, oh, now I think it's good, actually. Before, I wasn't sure you could do a double, triple bypass. But now that I've seen you saw open a chest, now I'm like, now it's good. To me, this is like dinging off a couple bells. What is going on with chiropractors? So I wanted to look it up, and I found this guy. His name is Kubal DC. So DC is Doctor of Chiropractic. So here is him discussing chiropractic techniques.
This guy suffered a stroke after a chiropractor cracked his neck, and I'm a chiropractor, so lots of people want me to talk about it. So let's talk about it. We should stop cracking necks. I explained why exactly 1 year ago after this young woman was paralyzed, and I'll do it again. First, when we crack your neck, there is a risk of stroke. It's not proven to cause stroke, but there's a small association, so the risk is greater than 0. And that risk isn't worth it because number 2, neck cracking doesn't work for neck pain any better than other treatments like massage or exercise. And number 3, stroke isn't the only risk. In this study, half the people getting their neck cracked thought their spine had gone out of alignment and was being popped back into place.
This guy is a chiropractor who is talking about how the stuff that we just watched, all of this like for-show chiropractic, is not only not useful, but actually potentially detrimental. And he's citing actual PubMed scientific articles. And I think that's very interesting. So let's finish this video.
Nobody should think that because it's a myth. And if someone thinks their spine or any body part is that fragile and then the neck cracking is reinforcing that belief, it can make them very overprotective of their body, which can make it a lot harder to recover from things like chronic pain and injuries. I see it with my patients every day. There's no reason to keep doing this. I haven't cracked a patient's neck since I was in school, hence the profile pic. Anyway, I'm just glad he's okay. Here's his GoFundMe if you want to help out.
So this is so interesting to me because here is a chiropractic doctor who is, his profile picture says no cracky backy. And he is adamantly saying we need to stop cracking necks. If you were to ask me 7 days ago what a chiropractor does, it's crack backs and necks. So I'm just like, what do you do then? If you're over here saying don't do the 2 things that I've seen chiropractors do, then what are they for? And so I looked more into this guy. And if you look at his profile, this is his TikTok. He has almost 600,000 followers. Look at his profile. He is showing sciatica workouts. He's showing lower back pain progression. He is showing hip flexor progression. He is showing effective exercises to help stretch and target pain in ways that you can do at home. And I think this is very interesting because if you look at this page and we compare it to the page of like Dr. Cracks here, look at the difference of these two chiropractors. It's just interesting to me is all. So let's watch another video from Aaron Kubal of him discussing viral chiropractic videos.
Viral chiropractor videos aren't what they seem. Let me show you. So this kid hurts his back, spends 3 months in bed like that. They do a bunch of stuff to him. And just 1 week later, it's a miracle cure until we cut through the bullshit. They talk like they realigned his spine. We can't do that by cracking you or hitting you or whatever he did. If spines were that easy to move, NFL players would be dead. These x-ray markings are meaningless. I don't know why the they x-rayed his head for back pain, and that's a thermometer. So what helped him? He just spent the week slowly easing out of that position. First lying down, then standing and walking and yoga. And that's it. It can help to let people know they're safe to move and poke into pain. Nothing crazy. Key takeaway. Probably could have avoided the whole thing if someone just gave him better advice in the beginning. Most acute back pain is not serious, and 3 months of bed rest is like the worst thing you could do.
This sounds like good advice. Like, chiropractors are not medical doctors, but all I can think of is if I went to a GP and I complained that like I had an upset stomach and they punched me in the abs until I felt better, compared to like if you go to a GP and you say you have an upset stomach and they say here's some anti-nausea medication, one of those things makes sense to me. And then same thing here, somebody comes in complaining of low back pain, one of them beats the shit out of you. And the other one is like, here are some workouts to help ease it. And here's all of the data and studies that show this is the right way to do it. That makes sense to me. So why does the other thing exist? And why is it so wildly popular? Because you know, when people see the big cracks, they're going to go into a chiropractor office and they're going to find a doctor that does that. And then they're going to get the big cracks done on them, which, as we've seen, can not only be not unhelpful, but can also be detrimental potentially to your health. So let's look more into what cracking is. So this is from the University of Texas at Austin, UT Health Austin. The sound of your knuckles make when you crack them is thought to result from the formation of bubbles in the synovial fluid, the thick fluid that cushions or lubricates your joints to reduce friction between your bones and preserve your cartilage. The knuckle cracking sound comes from the sudden release or popping of these gas bubbles due to a change in pressure as your joints are stretched out. The force produced by these bubbles may activate sensory receptors in the joint, which some experts believe causes the satisfaction people derive in cracking their knuckles. So literally, this is just saying, I'm going to crack my knuckles, and because there was a buildup and a release, my brain says, hey, good job, bud. You did it. But it doesn't really do anything, positive or negative, for you in your knuckles. And if we come down to here, while high velocity, low amplitude manipulation, a specific form of neck movements performed by physical therapists and chiropractors, carries a small risk of artery tear, a person can safely crack their own neck without complication. What this is saying is, I can do this and crack my neck, and that's okay, and that's going to do the same amount of help that when you go and get a fucking ring dinger from a chiropractor, except this doesn't potentially give me a stroke. This last little bit here, just as the habit can indicate underlying musculoskeletal tension, joint cracking can be linked to psychological factors. People often use knuckle cracking as a self-soothing mechanism to manage their anxiety. And this right here is what I'm trying to get into the why of like what is going on with chiropractors. Because from what I understand now, every single video you see of this type of thing, of this type of thing, of this type of thing, anything where people are just coming in and fucking your shit up, the only thing that is doing potentially for you is making you think like, I heard a noise, so therefore I'm gonna feel better. Dap sauce, that's very good. I think the same thing, right? Is why do people watch the back cracking videos? It's satisfying to hear in the same way watching somebody pop their pimples do. But if I'm watching a cyst extraction from Dr. Pimple Popper, that is a medical professional doing a medical procedure in a sterile environment done with training. A viral chiropractor is a snake oil salesman doing a fucking ring dinger on your neck and potentially killing your grandma. So I understand from a consumer point of view why you would watch it, but the chiropractors are putting these videos up as a way to drive business to their chiropractic office. Otherwise, why would they be doing it, right? I'm just a dude. I don't know shit about dick, right? So I looked up a spine surgeon talking about chiropractic. So this is Antonio J. Webb. He's a medical doctor. It's posted 4 years ago. And this is Tim talking about cracking your neck.
But you have to be aware that there are some risks associated with getting your back or your neck adjusted. There have been several case reports as well as several studies that have come out. There are lots of different complications that can occur when you adjust a particular portion of your spine. So specifically in your neck here, this is the front portion of your neck. You have the bones, the cervical bones, you have 7 of them. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, and C7. And the nerves that come out of this area here is called your foramen. Right in front of those nerves is the artery here. That's the vertebral artery. And when you adjust your spine, you're essentially releasing the nitrogen that is within the joints back here called the facet joints. But
this is a question I had when I was doing this like deep dive research type thing where I can imagine what this joint looks like, right? Or like a knee joint. I feel like when you're in school, you learn about like the ball and socket joint. And then you have like, that's like your hip, right? And then you have your shoulder, like that's a big joint. And when you crack your knuckles, I feel like I get it. But is that the same thing as your spine? Like, is that synovial fluid what the cracking noise in your spine is? So this is him just saying, yes, it's the same thing, right? It's just the same thing. Joints in between bones cracking. He's literally describing your knuckle is the same as your spine in terms of the cracking noise.
Point is the vertebral artery. So if you're adjusting your neck here, which makes me a little concerned that the artery right here can have an injury to it. And there have been several.
So he says you could get an injury, and then he puts up actual medical documentations of people getting their vertebral artery dissected after a chiropractor cracked their neck. Why are they still allowed to exist? If you would have put up 1, I would have been like, that's pretty bad. But 3, I'm already like, that's too much. That's too much. And look at these dates. 2005, 2006, 2015. You might think, oh, that's a long time ago. But in a little bit, we'll go over the history of chiropractic and you'll see that's not that long ago. So I just thought this was a nice little, a medical doctor explaining why cracking your neck is bad. So let's go back to Aaron Kubal, who is discussing some new research on back cracking.
Research on back cracking came out today, and I'm going to show you what it all means. Back cracking or spinal manipulation is used by chiropractors and physical therapists to treat back and neck pain. They often explain that an area of the spine is misaligned or restricted and they're going to crack it to fix the problem. But this new research shows that it might not actually matter what part of your spine they crack. For example, if you have pain here or they say the problem is here, they could crack you up here and you could still get pain relief. So what does this all mean? First, back cracking doesn't actually change your alignment.
Did you hear what he just said? Again, before you came into this video, think about what you knew about chiropractic and what you've seen about it and what you think it does. From my own perspective, it was you go in, they do the leg cross over the back thing, or maybe they put your arm up here, they push, you hear a crack, and it's supposed to relieve pressure or pain in the area you got cracked. This study is literally showing you could crack anywhere and it's gonna give you the same result. So he's gonna discuss here like the main takeaways from it.
Or remove restrictions. If it actually did those things, then it would matter what part of your spine they crack, but it doesn't. 2, if pain relief isn't coming from physical changes, it probably has a lot to do with contextual factors.
Insane! Is this not just like ding, ding, ding alarm bells for anybody else? How can you have any part of chiropractic practices that revolve around cracking your neck when it's literally studied and shows that you could crack wherever the hell you want and it's going to give you a placebo effect? And that's what you're paying hundreds of dollars to do.
An example of this would be expectations. If you like the clinician and you expect the treatment to work, you'll probably have a better outcome. And 3, we probably don't need to crack people's necks anymore. There is a non-zero risk of stroke associated with neck manipulation, and if we can get the same pain relief by cracking the upper back instead, I don't see how it's worth the risk to continue cracking necks.
I'm going to keep relating this to medical doctors because I think I think a lot of people think chiropractors are just a certain type of medical doctor, right? You got your surgeons, you got your general physicians, and you got your chiropractors. I cannot emphasize enough, chiropractors are not medical doctors. There's a very good reason for that. If I went into a surgeon's office and I needed open heart surgery and he looked me in the eyes and said, you really, you really have to believe this surgery is going to work or else your heart's going to give out, bud. I'm a surgeon, but I'm half Tinkerbell on my mom's side. And so if you don't believe it's not going to work, that's wild. So where did chiropractic even start? If you think of medical innovations, right? You think like, people were doing medicine hundreds and thousands of years ago. When you think about like orthopedics, right? People have been setting in shoulders. They've been doing joint repair for a while. You've got stuff like physical therapy. You might think this is hundreds of years old, thousands potentially. So what is the history of chiropractic? This is from the University of Minnesota. Chiropractic as a profession began in 1895 when its founder, Daniel David Palmer, adjusted the spine of a deaf janitor and claimed to restore his hearing. Spinal manipulation was not an unknown treatment in 1895, and Palmer never claimed to be the first manipulation for the cure of the disease. He did claim, however, to be the first to use specific contacts as short leverage points for making more specific spinal adjustments. So it started because this guy just it's like, yeah, no, I cured this dude's deafness. And if you think I'm being disingenuous, if you maybe feel like I'm not giving this enough credit or merit, let's keep reading. So he founded the Palmer School of Chiropractic. He taught his methods to the first chiropractors. These early years of the profession brought about a great deal of tension between conventional allopathic medicine and this new approach. Statutes to practice chiropractic were not established until later. Until the 60s, it was not uncommon for chiropractors to be jailed and fined for practicing without a license. It was illegal to be a chiropractor in the United States until 1960s because people could see that what he was attempting to do was some form of medicine, and then also that it wasn't doing anything and only potentially hurting people. Chiropractic today, the more recent professional cooperation and mutual appreciation between chiropractic and conventional medicine lie in stark contrast to many years of discord. And if you try to look up, like if you try to Google, like, is chiropractic pseudoscience? Everything I found was like, chiropractic can't be fake. It's like the third most money-making type of medicine. And like every justification is like, well, if it was fake, then how come so many people pay for it? And now let's look at everybody's favorite fact gathering website, Wikipedia. So the origin of chiropractic starts with D.D. Palmer, the man, the myth, the legend. So they say the birth of chiropractic was on September 18th, 1895. And there is controversy over what happened with several different accounts. So D.D. Palmer claimed that on the day he manipulated the spine of Harvey Lillard, who was a man who was nearly deaf, and he allegedly cured him of deafness, he said, quote, Palmer said, quote, there was nothing accidental about this. It was accomplished with an objective in view, and the expected result was obtained. There was nothing crude about this adjustment. It was specific, so much so that no chiropractor has equaled it. So the first guy to do chiropractic was so good at chiropractic, it's never been replicated. I'm going to say that again. This guy cured someone's deafness, as he claims, and then said, well, I peaked. We peaked in 1895. Nobody's ever been able to do it. Now, this version that D.D. Palmer said was disputed by the janitor's daughter. Her name is Valdina. She later said that her father told her that the janitor was telling jokes to his friend in the hall outside of Palmer's office, and Palmer, who had been there reading, just came into the conversation. And then when Lillard reached the punchline, Palmer laughed heartily, slapped the janitor on the back to be like, oh, good one, slap. And then a few days later, he told him that his hearing seemed to be better. The dude told the joke so good that he could hear better. Is how chiropractic got started. Again, if I was in a hallway of a fucking office and I was sweeping and I told a joke so good that somebody came up and performed open heart surgery on me, I would say, what the fuck are you doing cutting my chest open? What are you doing? It makes no sense to then base an entire business and field of medicine off of, the original claim that the janitor was deaf has already been walked back not once when he was saying like, well, he was hard of hearing, but then twice on the sense of the guy could tell a joke. And this was 1895. It's not like they had hearing aids. So the dude probably just had like compacted earwax and the dude thwacked him in the back and it unjammed his earwax. In spite of the fact that Lillard could hear well enough to tell jokes, BJ Palmer is Dee Dee Palmer's son, under sworn testimony that Lillard had been thoroughly deaf. Since 1895, the story of Palmer's curing a man of deafness has been a part of chiropractic tradition. Palmer's account differs significantly from what actually happened in that, according to Lillard's daughter, his improved hearing was likely caused by an accidentally fortuitous jarring of Lillard's body and not, as claimed by Dee Dee Palmer, caused by a specific adjustment. It was after this event that Palmer began to experiment with manipulation. He also claimed that his second patient, a man with heart disease, was cured by spinal manipulation. So you thought, oh, Josh, you're being over the top that you're talking about getting heart surgery. This dude did heart surgery by adjusting his back. And again, he was just so good at it that nobody's ever figured out how to do it again. So Dee Dee Palmer actually had a history in working with like alternative medicines. And he actually based a lot of his original work off of magnetism, something that is not used anymore to cure things because magnetism did not work. Although Dee Dee Palmer combined bone setting to give chiropractic its method and magnetic healing for the theory, he acknowledged a special relation to magnetic healing when he wrote, chiropractic was not evolved from medicine or any other method except for that of magnetic. Chiropractic was not evolved from medicine except for that of magnetic. If I go to a GP and I say, hey doc, I can't feel my toes, and they put magnets on me, I'm leaving and I'm not paying the copay. That is wild. And this dude started a whole branch that thousands of people go to every year. In more modern times, when the president of the ACA called accusations of quackery a myth, chiropractic historian Joseph C. Keating Jr. responded by calling his comments absurd and stated, there's no quackery myth about chiropractic. It's no myth. The kernels of quackery are ubiquitous in this profession. I dare say that health misinformation can be found in just about any issue of chiropractic trade publication and much of the promotional materials chiropractors disseminate to patients. All that to being said is even in 1991, chiropractic was not really seen as something that was widely like practiced. A lot of people were still very skeptic of it, which is why when I was talking here, I said, notice the dates on these chiropractic issues with the artery dissection. 2005, 2006, 2015. Chiropractics wasn't really even mainstream until the 2000s. Before that, people were like, no, why would I do that? The death of Dee Dee Palmer, the father of chiropractic, rest in piss. In the 2008 book, Trick or Treatment, in 1913, BJ Palmer, the son of Dee Dee Palmer, ran over his father during a homecoming parade at the Palmer School of Chiropractic. Weeks later, Dee Dee Palmer died. The official cause of death was recorded as typhoid. The book Trick or Treatment indicated it seems more likely that his death was a direct result of injuries caused by his son. There is speculation this was not an accident, but rather a case of patricide. So this dude killed his own dad, which honestly king for killing his own dad. However, he is of course not unguilty himself because he then took over the business of creating more and more chiropractors. Chiropractic has had a strong salesmanship element since it was started by Dee Dee Palmer. His son, BJ Palmer, asserted that their chiropractic school was founded on, quote, a business, not a professional basis. We manufacture chiropractors. We teach them the idea and then show them how to sell it. Dee Dee Palmer established a magnetic healing facility in Davenport, Iowa, styling himself doctor. Not everyone was convinced, as a local paper in 1894 wrote about him. They literally, he quoted himself as saying, I am a snake oil salesman. I am selling snake oil. Please buy my snake oil. You need snake oil. And that's where we are 100 years later. That leads us to, would you let your baby get cracked? Would you let your, after this, would you let your baby get cracked? Would you have before? Would you now? I tell you, I wouldn't have before and I still wouldn't. Nothing has changed my mind. But last, certainly not least, we're going to tie this all together. So that was the beginning of chiropractic. Where did chiropractic come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from, Cotton Eye Joe? This is a story from 2016. Chiropractor Dr. Ian Rossborough defends cracking baby's back in awkward Studio 10 interview. This is a doctor from Melbourne in Australia. This is a video he was doing where he went in and there's a colic baby. If you don't know, colic in babies is, from what I understand, they just won't stop crying. Some babies are just born colic. They don't really understand how or why, and there's nothing you can really do until they stop. So this baby was born colic. And I'm not going to show the video because to me it's very disturbing, but he adjusts this baby's spine. Again, I'm not going to show it, but you can see him manipulating this newborn baby. This is a 2-week-old baby, I believe, that is colic. And the parents he was doing this for have a older kid that is still like an infant that they had previously had worked on by Dr. Ian Rossborough. And so that's how they had this connection. They were like, hey, our baby's colic. Can you come fix it? So he posted this video where he did the adjustment and then the baby stopped crying.
Yeah, it didn't really hurt. If that hurt, you'd still be crying.
Which is, okay. So the baby stopped crying. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and be like, it was the chiropractic that worked. It could just be, I feel like it's similar to like scaring the hiccups out of somebody where he just like did something to a child and then the child who is 2 weeks old was like, what the f-? He went under fire. So he was widely criticized by doctors and other chiropractors for cracking. Oh, it was a 4-day-old baby's back. 4 days. 4 days. Suffered from colic and reflux, has more than 1 million views on YouTube. Last week, the president of the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners, Frank Jones, said there was, quote, absolutely no basis for this outlandish treatment on a newborn baby, and launched an attack on the chiropractic industry as a whole, telling news.com.au there is no scientific basis for most of the stuff they can do. That was in 2016. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like big medicine doesn't have an ulterior motive in making sure that they're the only way they can make money off of patients. But it's really fucking strange how every time something happens, doctors just come out and be like, guys, chiropractic's not good. Even chiropractors are like, guys, don't do the chiropractic stuff. This is from they banned this guy, Dr. Ian Rossborough, from operating on anybody under the age of 18 after this video came out. Dr. Rossborough admitted that the chiropractic profession is light on clinical trials, but insisted that his treatment methods are not damaging. So he's literally saying, we don't really have data on if this is good or bad, but I'm doing it okay. Trust me. I've been doing this for 20 years. If there was a problem somewhere, if there was any injury somewhere, I would know about it. He got banned from doing chiropractic on people under the age of 18. However, if you Google Dr. Ian Rossborough, he is still a practicing DC, doctor of chiropractic. He has his own thing. He has his own little area. What's going on with chiropractors? From what I understand, there are like 3 main schools of thinking when it comes to chiropractic. There's like the Palmer school, that's the original guy who just made up how we cured someone's deafness. There's a different school that pretty much is like, no, we know that's fake, but our fake stuff is better. And then there's like the school like this guy, Aaron Kubal, who's like, no, actually, I'm going to do this the proper way and actually help you get better. The way that isn't the Palmer school is also very anti-vax. That's why somebody asked him here, do you support vaccination? And he said, I definitely support a parent's choice to vaccinate. Which is no, right? He doesn't vaccinate his kids. And this is, again, 2016. This isn't COVID. This is just straight up him being like, again, I feel like people have this conception that chiropractors are medical doctors, and he's not. He's just a dude who learned how to touch people's bodies. With all this, it's, again, my question is, what's going on? There's so much data and so much evidence that shows chiropractic is literally, at least when it comes to the viral stuff, at best, nothing burger. Like, it doesn't do anything, and at worst can damage people. And so again, I ask, what's going on? How is this allowed to exist? How is it allowed to continue to be marketed to people? I'm not going to judge people if they go to a chiropractor. Like, But I'll tell you, I'm never going to a chiropractor. Like, that seems wild. And I'll tell you, like, all of these viral chiropractors, the fart videos, the animals, it's gross to me. It's gross to me. I don't like it. I will never see a chiropractor and think, hey, you're not a weird person. And that's it. That's all I got on bone queefs. That's all I got on joint farts. Thanks for going on the dive with me. I can imagine what this joint looks like, right? Or like the ball and socket joint. And then you have like, that's like your hip, right? Prove you know it, draw it for us. Okay. All right, here we go. Head. Okay. Right, and then here's your knee. And like here's your hip. And then here's your shoulder. So if we look at the hip, this is where you get your femur that looks like this. Right? Stop trying. And then your pelvis looks like this. With your tailbone. And so the way this works is this can just like freely rotate, right? So yeah, so this is a ball and socket joint. Oh, and we all know it was implied that I drew this. Okay, now let's look at the I mean, come on, folks. I see the same drawing twice. I mean, that's pretty freaking good.